You're now listening to Sound Talent Media. Check out more shows at soundtalentmedia.com.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Matt McGackie, the vocalist of Cryptopsy and the host of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians. We talk all about their lives and music while sharing killer craft beers. If you've ever wanted to sneak backstage and share a beer with one of your favorite musicians, well, Vox and Hops is the podcast for you. This week on the podcast, I dropped a killer episode with Kelly Schaefer of Atheist. There is this episode and over 440 other ones to help you enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. So what are you waiting for? It's time to become a Vox and Hops head. Cheers!
What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the podcast. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I've been sitting on this episode with Mark and Sean for a little bit, so I'm actually very excited to get it out in the world. They are good dudes, they make wonderful instruments, and we had a really good time, and I think you will too. So I want to get into that as quickly as possible, but really quick, I have something to plug before we do. If you heard the episode that I did recently with Scott Marquardt from Stringjoy, you know that I am a part of the team over at Stringjoy. I am involved in that company, and I want to let you know that we have a brand new product out. It's something that lots of people have been asking for, and I honestly didn't think we would ever do, but I'm really stoked with how it came out. We now have coated phosphor bronze acoustic guitar strings. Yeah, I know. I've been the anti-coated string guy for a long time, but these are really awesome. They are called the Foxwoods, and you can find them on stringjoy.com. If that's all you need to know, you can find them over on the website. If you would like to hear them in action, I made a YouTube video showing what they sound like, and I actually did a really interesting test. The strings in the video that I'm using right off the bat are a year and a half old. They are the original prototype Foxwoods that were sent to me to test out and, put my ears on. And I left them on my dad's guitar for a year and a half. And then in the video, I play the old strings, and then immediately I replace them with some brand new Foxwoods so you can hear the difference between the two. Again, they're a year and a half old. They've been sitting out in the open air. And it was a fun experiment, and it was a fun video. So you can find that on the YouTubes. Okay, that's enough plugging. If you have more questions about them, you can text me at the text chat. You can message me wherever, or you can just ask the team at Stringjoy if you have any questions about them. So enough of that. Let's get into this one with Mark and Sean from Seuf Guitars. Here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Tone Mob Podcast, the show about guitar stuff occasionally, sometimes. I'm your host, Blake Weiland, and with me today, I have Mark and Sean Penninger from Seuf Guitars, right? Did I do that right?
Yep.
Yes. I was going to ask that, but I'm pretty sure Ryan from Demos in the Dark said it like that, so that's probably correct.
Yes, so, that's it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was the one who urged me to play some of your stuff, and when I finally had the opportunity was actually on the JHS show. So
nice.
Yeah, so the plan, my original plan was to play. He has a pink HM Strat, and I was like, that's what I'm going to play because it'll look ridiculous and awesome, and it would have. But I was like, I've heard. Oh yeah, Ryan was telling me I got to check these out, so I picked up the Telly that Josh has there.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, nope, this is what I'm playing now. Like this thing is dope. Like I just fell in love with it immediately. It was everything that I like in a Telly. It was doing it. And so I was like, okay, no, I'm playing this on. And so I played badly, but I played it for the rest of the live show that we did there. So that was my introduction to your work.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. You guys make rad stuff. So I'm stoked to have you guys here.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So maybe we start with go way back in the time machine. And when did you guys get started playing and building? And you've got a ton of things going on. So tell me all about it.
I guess I'm up. So we got started playing probably around 99 or so, the day after we saw Kiss at the first farewell tour that they did.
Yes.
So went out the next day, Got some pawn shop guitar. I don't even remember what the brand was. Do you?
It was Sensonics.
Sensonics.
Okay.
Yeah. Got one of those. Couldn't play it, and sat around for a year, and then finally something made me want to pick it back up, and I was like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna learn how to play the guitar.
Right.
And eventually, cut to 4 or 5 years later, ripping an Ibanez. Not very well, but still ripping on it. And cut to after college. Started working with Dave Seiferling of Seuf fame, obviously.
Okay.
And I started off wet sanding bodies, getting them ready to buff and all that good stuff, make them look good. And then after that, the buddy that I was working with moved, so it was a really small operation, and I had to pretty much learn how to run a repair shop.
Wow.
Because all I knew was sanding. So, did all that and started learning how to run the shop and everything like that, and eventually got good. Brought Sean on to wet sand bodies.
Now you sand.
Yeah, now Sean did that. And eventually Dave wanted to retire from the business, so he sold it to us. And the rest is history. And
wow.
cut to what? It's 2022. I think
Dave got out in 2016.
Yeah, he got out in 2016, so we've been doing it ever since.
Wow. So my experience has only been with the stuff that you in particular have made. So that's very interesting. So was it when you first started working there, were you like, I'd love to build these one day? Or were you just like kind of doing it and it sort of just happened naturally?
I really just started out, I wanted to be a great repair tech. That's really all it was. I wanted to be the best around at repairing guitars, and the rest of it just kind of fell into my lap. And it was a bit of a learning curve, to be honest with you. But yeah, I've been this is all I've known for the last decade. So
yeah,
I don't have to have a day job. Let's just say that much, which is great.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the goal, right? That's always the goal.
Yeah. Guitars is my day job. That's crazy to me. I never thought I'd be here.
I mean, same. I am doing it in a very different way, but all I wanted to do was be around and do guitar stuff. I had no idea that this was going to be the avenue for that, but it is insane that I get to do that. And it's really awesome that you get to do that too, because it's got to be the most rewarding thing. You like hear somebody playing something that you made. That's got to feel cool.
Yeah, man, it's cool.
Oh, it's wild.
Have there ever been any like really like big moments with that where you're like, I can't believe this person is playing that instrument that was just a pile of wood, a little while ago?
I think the first guitar that we made for Josh Scott was a big one.
Yeah.
That was cool. He's in Kansas City, so we hand delivered it to him. He showed us around JHS at the time, and every time we've been back since, it's been bigger and a completely different operation than the time we were there before. It's wild. And then when he started the live thing, it's just so cool. Like logging on and watching those videos and seeing like he's using our guitars a lot. That's really cool. And yeah, it's really, really cool. I'll never get over it.
Yeah. He seems to be the gateway for a lot of things. It's even partially why this podcast is happening. So thanks, Josh. I'll send you a text later. You're great.
Same.
But you made him that telly that I played, and then I think you make an offset for him too? Yeah.
We did a all white with a maple fingerboard OH10. And that was the first. That was the intro. Then we revamped a Les Paul and kind of turn it into a gold top for him.
Oh, sweet. I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Wow.
that one rips. It's
Wow.
really good.
That's super cool.
Yeah, and then we did the OH 19 and 20 for him, and those are the last ones that we got to him.
Gotcha.
And yeah, so getting to see the rotation, those are our three main staples: the OH 10, 19, and 20. Those are the ones that, especially the OH 10 offset.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that one has a lot of traction right now. That's probably 50% of our business.
So what is it about, us as like just dumb guitar players, we don't necessarily know what it is, especially in something that is, it's been like such a platform and been turned into so many things, but like the staples are, these offset guitars or the T-style guitars or whatever. I know when I pick one up that it's special, but I don't know necessarily why sometimes. What do you guys put into what's the juju that you guys put into it that makes it have the thing? What is it?
I don't know. I don't know if there's necessarily juju, but I think the big thing is we are really good at repairing guitars. So I think when we're building them, like we just know how to dial them in like perfectly.
Right.
I think that's a big one. Yeah, there's like, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing super special that we do. Like there's some little secrets that we have about how we make things feel, but
yeah.
And a lot, you compound all of those things. I think that's really what it is. We're like, we're not out to really reinvent the wheel with some of the stuff. But you take all these little tips and tricks that we've picked up from the repair and restoration world of things, and then add to that, we're hand winding our own pickups. We pick and get the best quality components that we possibly can. And I think it's all just a happy marriage on top of that. Like we oversee every step of the way to making things absolutely perfect. And we don't, we spend countless labor hours making things perfect. I think that's really what it is. It's like, we're not jamming them out,
Right. How many guitars a month do you think you guys are producing right now?
Right now, probably 5.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you take a lot of time with each one. That's probably the main thing, right?
Yeah.
It's just like making sure. Yeah. So like how many hours would you say that go into your average build? I know that might be a little bit difficult to estimate because it's kind of all over the place, but if you had to take a guess.
I'd say probably 20 to 25
Wow.
hours.
That's intense.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It's a lot. No stone left unturned,
That's amazing. And is that stuff you learned beforehand, or is it stuff you've adapted from the repair world, kind of, or a combination of those things?
Both and.
Yeah, definitely both.
Here's a fun question.
Okay.
You ready? I just thought of this. What is, because you've done a lot of repair work, what's the most challenging repair job that you've taken on, and how did it turn out?
I don't know.
Oh man. Let's see. I have to go back recently because my memory is shot. So, oh God, what was the last like really, really cool thing that we did that, God, I don't know off the top of my head.
It's kind of a weird question. I know you've been doing it for a long time. I know it's like, oh, this guy brought in the Martin that was smashed on, Hateful Eight or something like that.
I would not. Oh, I don't even think Martin would restore that one.
I don't think they did. I think they just kept the pieces in the museum. I'm pretty sure that's what they did with it.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah. It's a lot of the bigger stuff that we do is hiding finish touch-ups. And like big bad headstock breaks and stuff like that. We're pretty good about disappearing that stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if disappearing is the right word.
Yeah, disappearing is not the right word, but a really good repair job.
Yeah, one that's difficult to tell is what you're saying. Yeah,
I don't know, man. I just had a Dean bass come in with a big old hole in the side.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So the top and back are yellow.
Yeah.
And the side is checkered print.
Oh,
they call it like a taxi something or other bass. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So big old hole in the side, and I had to like touch up checker finish on a Dean bass.
Interesting.
That's something I just did that comes to mind.
How did it get a hole in the side? Is he like swinging it like a battle axe at somebody?
I hope so. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't ask questions. I just like, yeah.
It's like there's blood on this thing. How did that get there? I don't know. Don't worry about it. Just clean it off for me.
I hate it when there's blood on guitars. Like we got to start charging a hazmat fee or something.
Oh, you totally should. If there's blood on it, you don't know where that blood came from.
Yeah, I don't know what's in it.
Yeah, could be anything in there. Yeah. You know, you don't know what these people are doing at these shows. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
How many bloody guitars do you see?
Yeah, it's not cool.
No. Body
anybody
fluids
listening, blood on your guitar is not cool. Get that off of there, especially before you take it into somebody to get some work done on it.
Yeah, that's not your job. You're not cleaning up a morgue here. Like you're fixing instruments. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
What do people expect out of you?
No, pass. I don't want it.
Yeah, so you see this a lot then? Like,
I mean, enough to where it's a thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely sprayed blood all over my guitars before.
Yeah,
like,
same.
Going to town and you split your thumb open, and I'm not hating on that, but I definitely don't leave it on there.
Mine's always been a bad hangnail. Like I'll have a hangnail and I'll just be like going to town, and next thing I know, I look down, I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot of blood.
Yeah,
and it's always on a white guitar.
Of course, or butterscotch. Something that really pops. It's always going to be on that. It's never going to be on a red guitar. Yeah. I think I found a title for this episode, Blood on the Guitars. Then people will click on that, maybe, hopefully. Click on it, please. Well, obviously they already did because they're hearing this right now. So I guess it worked.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yep, that's true. So what are some of you guys' like, you mentioned Kiss, like that got you started, but as you've went down the road of rock and roll and all that, like who are some of your big inspirations?
Believe it or not, because we're so into the offsets, would you believe that we, outside of our fascination with Kiss and all things classic rock, the shoegaze stuff, that is where I get my rocks.
Okay. All right. I like that. So you weren't kidding when you're talking about playing pedals. Like,
we're pedal players.
Me too.
I'm just so not good at guitar. Like, I'm really solid at rhythm, but like I can't play guitar that good. So pedals are great. Love playing pedals.
That's right. I don't think I'm solid at anything but making a whole lot of noise. I'm very good at making a lot of noise.
I love that.
Yeah, I can do that. But yeah, I'm not even a solid rhythm player. I'm just a bad guitar player. So weird that I found myself in this
guitar
position.
Players make money though.
Yeah.
Like there's like, I don't know, if you watch like YouTube videos of bands playing live on, I don't know, however you watch them playing live or wherever. Like, guitar players, like the people that make money aren't always that good. And or they're exceptionally great. Like, but
at one
I think
thing
I could do that, and then it turns out like I'm not actually that creative, so I can play it, I can do it.
And this probably sounds like a cop out, but like, and it is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but most of the things, not all, but most of the things I listen to aren't insanely technical, and they're not. It's like, I don't really have any interest in. Mad respect, but I don't have any interest in playing like Yngwie. I don't
either. Yeah.
I 0% want to play like that. I'm crazily impressed by anybody that can, but it does nothing for me,
Yeah, I really wish I could play like Mick Mars from Motley Crue. I really wish I could play like Ace Frehley, but I can't. And I watch YouTube tutorials, and
Yeah.
I try my best, and I can pick some stuff up, but the amount that I can actually retain day to day, like after I'm just like watching the thing and try to do it, is basically zero.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. My son is just getting started playing drums. And his drum instructor, I had him like sit down with him, and he was about to leave from his first lesson. And I was like, hey, Michael, like, what? Because Vincent's only 6. So at 6, you know, the only kind of gratification that exists is instant gratification. Delayed gratification is not a thing to a 6-year-old. That's not real. And so I wanted to be like, Michael, show him what happens when you play guitar starting at age 6. And I think Michael's like 22 or something. Insanely good jazz drummer. Like, show him like what you can do. And so I just had him sit down and just kind of do some stuff. And my son's jaw dropped. And I'm like, you know, but you have to practice to be able to do that. You know, you have to keep at it. And he's finally like, okay, so I'm not going to be good at this right away.
Right.
It's going to take me some time.
I never progressed from the learning Green Day song stage of playing guitar.
And look at Billy Joe.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's one of the like best rock and roll guitarists, best rock and roll frontmen that has ever existed, because he knew what he was doing.
Yep. Yeah, we were just listening to a big pop punk playlist on our little trip yesterday, and Green Day came on, and it was She. And I was just like, I haven't listened to this song in a long time. Like, Green Day is one of the best bands of all time.
Yes.
You know, they just are. It's
Can't
so
deny it.
catchy. It rocks so hard. And who doesn't like Green Day other than like some like, I don't know, salty old punk rocker that's like, that's not real punk rock. And it's like, well, okay, whatever. Maybe it's not, but it is awesome.
Yeah, it made millions of people tap their foot the first time they ever heard it. That says a lot.
Yep. Everybody from people at Gilman Street to like, you know, soccer moms. Like, everybody likes it. It's awesome.
Yep.
Have you gotten to make a guitar for anybody that you were just like, oh, I can't believe I'm talking to this person right now?
Oh man.
Recently, No, it's not like this
Or
person's
work on
not like
one. Anything.
he's not
counts.
like he's famous in the repair world.
Okay.
So we've had the privilege of making guitars for Eric Coleman from Stumac. Yeah, like one of our heroes getting into the game, whatever. Like, we met him in Athens, Ohio, where Stumac is. We went to take a class, and a couple days after he left, he messaged us. He's like, "Hey, I want one of your guitars." I was like, "What the? Whoa!
Wow!
Wow!
That means something." Yeah.
So we made a couple for Eric, and Dan Earlywine just ordered one.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yeah. God of guitar repair. He texts me every other day now. And
That's phenomenal.
yeah, he's sending me an old Strat to work on tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah. How do you get to this point? Like, you look up to these people for so many years, and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna send you this. I want you to put your touch on it." It's like,
Wow.
okay, I guess that's what my next 2 weeks looks like.
Yeah.
Cool.
That just reminded me. I've got to email Dan. I'm supposed to email him to get him on this show.
Oh, you should.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Dan is a hoot. You're gonna love him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a storyteller. I don't want to ruin it for any of your listeners yet, but he used to be in a band with Iggy Pop.
He did?
I swear, yes.
When he tells the story, it's like, Iggy Pop was my drummer.
What?
Yeah, dude.
What? Oh, that's going to be an episode. Wow.
Yeah.
I got to get back on that horn.
Also,
I totally
I'll give
spaced
you
that.
another tip. He used to give Bob Seger guitar lessons.
Are you serious?
I swear.
The Bob Seger.
Bob Seger. Yeah, they're both from Ann Arbor.
This is insane. I got to get this podcast scheduled. What am I even doing? I'm slacking on the job, everybody. I'm sorry, listeners. This is terrible of me. I got to get this thing going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's some insider Dan info there.
Oh man. I wonder if I let him bring that up, or do I? Well, I guess he might listen to this episode. So maybe he'll know that I know.
Pretend you're like Nardwar and you just like know everything about his past.
Do you remember that time in 1983 when you Yeah. Do you remember back in the 70s when Iggy Pop was your drummer? Like,
this would have been like the 60s. This is like before Iggy Pop's break.
Yeah, before the Stooges, like all of that stuff.
Wow. I didn't think that's part of why that's so surprising is I wouldn't have thought he would have been old enough for that. Like he's younger than that in my brain, but I guess that's not true.
He's timeless.
Maybe just that's right. He's timeless. He is without age.
That's right.
Which is, I think, what happens when you get good enough at repairing guitars.
He's the best. Oh my God. It's such a pleasure to be friends with that guy and with Eric Coleman and like all those guys. In that one little small town in Athens, Ohio. It's crazy the stuff that they put out. It's wild. They're light years beyond everyone else in the world. And they're all just focused on this one little place.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
the great thing about them also is like they're willing to share everything they know with anybody who takes the time to sit down and ask them. Like, they're not shy about it. Like, I think that's a really good mentality to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I think that as a whole, we're mostly getting over that hump. Not entirely, but mostly getting over that hump where like information's guarded. Like, oh no, I know this thing that nobody knows. Because if anybody else finds out my thing, then I won't have it anymore and I'm going to lose my business. And I think that for the most part, the internet has proven that that's like largely always been a false narrative.
Yeah, definitely. And like guitar repair as a career path is such a new thing. Like I understand why people have been like closely guarding their secrets for so long, but like we're all making the rules as we go along. There's no like handbook on how to be a guitar repair guy. Like,
right.
So, like,
Dan wrote the repair book.
Oh, yeah. Dan wrote the repair book.
I mean, he told you how to do
one
it.
or two.
Yeah. But not necessarily how to carve it out as a career, which actually is a nice segue into a question I was planning on asking, which is for somebody who's listening to this that maybe is wanting to start a repair shop. Maybe they've like been doing this kind of on the side for a long time and they're ready to like try to make a real go at it. What advice would you have for that person?
Do it. Just
do it.
Like if you're confident enough in your ability and you think you're ready to take on clients, then just go for it. Like the worst you can do is screw up and have to have some hard conversations.
Right.
You know? And it's going to happen. But I'd say just go for it. Like there shouldn't be anything holding people back from doing this because like it needs to become a viable option for people, I think, because there's so many guitar players and so few repair guys. Like, I think that people should do it.
Especially post-pandemic stuff, or not during pandemic stuff, I guess is a better way to put it, because I don't think we're out of this for a second. But I mean, we saw one solid month of no business whatsoever.
Wow.
And since then, and that was
April
2020. Of 2020. Since then, we have had to shut the shop down one time to catch up, but before that, we were limiting appointments. We are so busy right now that it's really hard to keep up. Like this year is looking like we're either going to have to hire 2 new people or risk having to do that again. We are so busy.
Wow.
It's crazy. So many people are picking up guitar, and a lot of those people are repeat customers for repair, just simple setup stuff, or when it comes to anything. Like people are committed to playing guitar again.
And imagine being somebody that starts a shop and getting to say, I work on people's guitars for a living. And that's cool. Like,
yeah,
I don't want for nothing. I don't have to I don't have to worry. Like I work on guitars for a living. Like,
Yeah.
that's such a new thing. It's not like mechanics. Like mechanics, like since there's been an engine, there's always been mechanics. Like people have tried to, fix their guitars for a long time. But like, no, the techs are a new thing, man. That's cool.
Well, and it's also, I know at least for me, like once you have your person locally, like once you have that guy or whoever's doing it for you, you don't really tend to, unless it's an emergency and they just can't do it. Like you don't tend to stray away from that. Like once I got my guy, that was it. Like I'm going to Right Sounds. That's where I take my guitars when I need I need them,
Right Sounds. All right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that came, and so much of, you can probably attest to this. So much of that is word of mouth. Because why did I start going to Matt? Because I hadn't used a repair guy in a really, really long time. I had a bunch of guitars that needed set up that I could have done. But I was like, I don't have time. I don't want to. And I'd rather just drop them off and have somebody who's a professional do it.
That's right.
And so I texted Andy Martin. I was like, who's your person? He's like, it's Matt. Okay, I'm going to Matt then. And I think that it tells you like the value in doing a really, really good job, because Matt does a really, really good job with everything.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he's doing. And again, he's a good follow, because like he's a good follow on social media, because if you are just getting started in this, you're going to get a lot of information. Mm-hmm. He shares a ton of like really like practical, useful things that are just, like, I wouldn't have thought of pulling a knob off like that. Huh. Look at that,
It's just the little things like that, man. I love social media for that. And we try to follow back like as many people. Like if somebody follows us and they're a repair person, then I'm gonna give them a follow back. Like I'm not better than anybody else. Like
you might learn something.
I might learn something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great.
Yep. Yeah, that is, for all of its follies, there are some bright spots in the social media landscape.
Right.
And that's all it, trying to find those and cultivate your feed to be mostly those is always a unique challenge, but
it is.
I've done a pretty good job. Most of my feed brings me joy. Once in a while I have to shake my fists in the air like an old man, but not very often.
Right.
Yeah. Not very often at repair techs on my end. Every now and again they'll post something kind of off kilter. I'm like, I don't know about all that, but
I mean, I make a really dumb meme sometimes, so that probably bothers some people. Yeah. I just did today.
We're notoriously bad at even posting to social media, so
yeah.
Well, it's like you're busy or something.
Yeah.
It really is. It's we are really busy. It turns out I don't have the time to. I barely even check my social media anymore. And let alone focus on the business side of things. I think we're gonna have to like hire somebody to do that for us, because we are notoriously bad at that.
Oh, we'll just have Grant do it when he gets here. That's right.
Yeah, it's I mean, I've told this story many times on the podcast, but it was about 3 years ago. Somebody wanted to talk to me about social media strategy and just their business strategy in general, because they were a company that had done really well in like 2012, and then kind of started like they just kind of didn't keep up, and so they contacted me and asked for like a initial conversation, and I was like, here's what you need to do, and I gave them the whole thing, and their response was like, wow, that sounds like a lot of work. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's like it's almost like it's someone's full-time job,
right?
It's they never did pull the trigger on anything, as far as I can tell. So, I guess they just stuck with that strategy that they were going with. But that's a tangent. I don't know why I'm going.
It happens. Yeah, keeping up with social media, and you don't have to even fight to stay relevant. You just need to get out there more than you think you do. Just a little bit. Like, think of what you can handle day to day and just like amplify that by 1.5.
That's advice we don't follow.
And that's the advice I don't follow.
Okay, but at least you know.
But I know. I think about it all the time.
That extra 2 minutes is like a real burden on workflow,
Sometimes it is though.
Yeah,
sometimes it is. Like you're in the middle of something, you got like, grease all over your hands, and you're like trying to do something, and it's just like,
I should take a picture right now. I should snap a picture.
yeah. It's like, or I could finish it and get it out the door.
Right. Yeah.
It's always finish it and get it out the door for us, which is pretty unfortunate because we're banging out some pretty cool stuff every now and again.
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe you just need to like remind each other, like while you're doing, hey, take a picture of that, and then you can hold each other accountable or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's that probably works pretty well. It's a tough line to walk, though. I mean, and then there's the other argument. Is I don't know. You seem like what you're doing is working. So
yeah.
It's only a problem if what you're doing isn't working. Kind of like the individual I was just speaking about. He was like upset that I don't want to air the dirty laundry too much, but he was upset that it wasn't working. I'm like, well, here's what you should do to make it work. And he's like, no. Well, then don't be upset that it's not working, I guess.
Right.
I don't. So
I see a lot of people that post a lot, and because they post a lot, I'm able to nitpick a lot. Like I'm really zooming, like thumb and forefinger and zooming in on their work. And I'm like, maybe you shouldn't have posted that, buddy. But
is that something though you think that a customer would notice most of the time, or is it more
Absolutely
like
not.
my trained eye notice?
It's a trained eye thing.
Yeah. Here's a good question. What's a common mistake that you see, like that, not from a tech perspective, but like what's something you see all the time that comes in? It's like, okay, you really shouldn't, store your guitars underwater or something like that. Like what's like something you see that players don't think about enough?
Humidifying their instruments. Speaking of storing it underwater. Yeah. Just see like my bench all week has been top cracks on acoustic guitars. Like that's all I've been fixing lately. That and like doing the paintwork for Seuf. It's all top cracks for me because people aren't humidifying their guitars when the heaters come on.
Okay. Yeah, that's something that I'm fortunate in, that it stays pretty consistent. So I forget that's a need
in the
most
Midwest
places.
with really dry winters and really humid summers. Like it's wood does a lot of things in both those extremes. So
right. And it's really like the swing from one to the other, right? That kills it.
And it's really rapid here. So like it gets really dry really quickly, and then tops just crack on acoustic guitars. Or sides, or like bridges come off.
Oh, yes.
Well, tis the season for bridges coming off.
It's not something you ever want to open your case and see.
No.
That's not a good feeling. I, knock on wood, have not ever had that happen, and hopefully I never will. But
I probably will.
It will?
It's part of the natural lifespan of an acoustic guitar, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's why I don't have any.
Just like how Gibson necks are always going to snap it at some point.
What?
And,
no,
and
don't
bridges
tell me
are
that.
coming off acoustic guitars. Like that's going to happen.
No, don't tell me that. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 Gibsons. They're still okay.
They say they sound better after a good neck break repair. So you have that to look forward to.
It doesn't make me feel any better.
It's got to be a good repair.
You got me like looking at my Les Paul Jr. right now in fear. Like I'm like, oh, don't you do it! Don't you do it! I don't know. They're pretty safe. I'm pretty. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like you got a really nice setup back there. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the Shred Shed. Sometimes I wish I could put it out. I could. I have not yet not been lazy and put these out in video form, but I did do a Shred Shed walkthrough on YouTube the other day. My listeners have been asking for that for a really long time, so
I did watch it.
That's a nice setup.
Thank you. Oh, you did watch it?
I did watch it.
I appreciate that. The views are what not almost pay the bills. I don't know. It's more the downloads. The listens do better, but that's okay. Did you see me storing anything in a questionable manner? Where you're like, Blake, you're gonna regret that one day, or is
no, I did not.
Okay. Whew. You got me sweating now. I just think if I look at my Gibsons, the headstock's going to break now. You know, I've
That's
never worried
all
about
it takes
before.
sometimes.
Yes, it will. If you look
don't look at it.
If you scowl at a Gibson, the headstock's going to snap right off on you.
I'll just smile at it.
We say that to everybody that comes in with a snapped headstock on a Gibson. It's like, yeah, you can look at them wrong and they'll
Mhm. Although I will say,
got to be really, really reassuring for them, you know.
I have my first guitar, my first electric guitar was a Gibson. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm thinking about all the times that the headstock should have broke on it, because I was like playing, you know, rowdy punk rock stuff and swinging it around and mistreating it, and it definitely hit the ground a few times. Somehow the headstock's still on it, though. Does that mean I'm headed for trouble? Is there like it's just waiting for that one time, or is it battle tested?
Yeah, it's probably you know, you got a good piece of wood on your neck.
So here's another question for you. From players, you'll hear these things, but I don't necessarily know how much weight it holds. But you'll be like, "Oh yeah, the Fenders from 1993 to 97 were great, but the ones from 92 to 91 had problems." And you'll hear that with different brands sometimes said. I think that can be true sometimes, but I also think that guitar players often don't know what they're talking about. Have you ever seen any particular era be a problem with any major brand?
Where do I start? Okay,
I'm ready.
This is the content I crave. If you are buying an American Fender from the year 2000 to about 2006, you are going to expect that your truss rod runs out of adjustment and you are left with a forward bowed neck, and you are going to need to pull the walnut plug at the headstock, add some washers to it, and put it back in, do a finish touch up and all that. I've seen so many early 2000s Fenders that just run out of adjustment on their headstock. Or at the truss rod at the headstock. It is a problem. You can try to press the neck with heat, but it doesn't usually work. And you just need to go in and reinforce that.
Wow.
It happens a lot. Gibson from 2006 to 2011, just throw it in the garbage. Minus a select few. If you're listeners out there, if you are playing a 2007 Les Paul Studio and it rocks for you, it rocks. Sean's rocks.
Mine's rocks.
My 2011 Melody Maker rocks, but that's not what I see. I mean, maybe I have a bad perspective on it because it's only coming to a repair shop if it's got a problem.
I think the problem is we notice patterns.
Yeah.
So we notice patterns on like when particular problems are, you know, presenting themselves and what years they are. But by and large, I don't think every guitar from that era is going to be some sort of messed up.
Right. So what you mentioned the problems on the Fenders. What was the issues with the Gibsons, or is it all over the place?
It's all over the place.
Okay.
They're all over the place. Twisted necks, misdrilled bridges. You can't intonate them. Just you name it on Gibson, I've seen it.
Wow. Henry J's, you know, prime cocaine years just were not kind to the brand,
Sure.
I don't think. You know?
No, we just had to pull
Alleged cocaine years. Sorry,
Yeah.
everyone. Don't want to get sued. Yeah, allegedly.
No, we have a 2019 335 in right now, which by all means is a great guitar, but we just had to pull all the frets out and refret it because the neck, like, it was just I'm gonna chalk it up to a production snafu, and like they just did a bad job on this one.
Were they not like fully in? What was wrong with
They
them?
were not fully level.
Yeah.
I think it got plucked with the neck with the neck not straight. So we went to go level it out, and everything just went south really, really quickly. And I had to make that really sad phone call. It's like, buddy, I'm really sorry. I'm doing okay today. How are you? Okay, I have some bad news. This has to be refretted.
Right.
And it breaks my heart every time I have to make that call, because like we try to be like, from a repair standpoint of things, like we know that most musicians are either they just want to get their stuff right, or they're working on a musician's budget.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of tell when they're working on a musician's budget. And I hate having to make that phone call, the bad news phone call. And luckily in this instance, he was cool with it. It's like, okay, it's going to be fine. The bones are good, but this needs to be addressed now, or else you're throwing your money in the trash.
Right.
Like on just general maintenance stuff. Like, and I'm not the kind of person who will allow somebody that brings their stuff to us to throw their money in the trash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like there's no point in changing the oil in this engine because you've already got like a rod knocking and you need to rebuild it, basically.
Yeah.
We use the mechanic analogy quite a bit around the shop.
Yeah. Those are things that translate to my brain. That's my
you can
formal
dump
life.
coolant in your reservoir all day, but your head gasket's blown.
Which it's like we will get you by. You'll get to the store,
Yeah.
But
not much further.
Yeah, but you're gonna spend a lot of money on coolant over the time.
Yep.
So you mentioned something I want to ask you your guys' opinion on. I don't know if this
Sure.
is like a touchy subject in the repair world. I have a feeling that it might be. How do you guys feel about Plek machines?
Love them.
Love
Love
But
them.
that said, they're only as good as the Plek operator. So, like, take our 2019 335 example. Like, the Plek operator probably didn't know like what to look for before they plucked that guitar.
Right.
And they, it was a bad job, and that happens. That's okay. But like with a trained technician, like you're going to get outstanding work every single time, better than what you can do by hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe that. Like, we're looking into getting a Plek. They cost a lot of money, and that's something we have to figure out at some point. But like, our plan is to get a Plek machine for builds and repairs.
I like that analogy because we at Stringjoy, you wouldn't believe the comments in the ads and videos and things that go out for a string company. It's pretty astounding how passionate people get about things they really don't understand.
Sure.
And one of the common things is like, well, your machine, everybody uses the same machine, so how are they any different? And I'm always like, that's the dumbest thing. That's like saying like, all carpenters use hammers. How's that build any different? It's like,
right.
Because it's not, you can run a machine badly.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
and that's how I feel about Pleks.
Mm-hmm.
You can run a machine badly.
Yeah.
So
I'm assuming with strings, like you're thinking of the diameter of the core wire. Is it hex core? Is it round core? All these other things that go into the equation of making a great guitar string.
Well, it's, and I'm not even that good at it. Like, I just know a lot of the stuff, but I know like there's those things. There's how much compression you're putting on the core as it's being wrapped.
Yeah.
And something that we pay a lot of attention to that some people don't, is the actual angle that the wire wraps at. Because you can go, a long ways. You can go, I can't remember, like 45 degrees. Scott's probably going to pull me in the office and beat me up because I don't remember exactly what the numbers are. But like it can go pretty far one way or the other. And if you don't have it just right for the string that you're working on it won't intonate right, or it won't be a good string. But visually you won't be able to tell once it's done. The only way is by seeing it run. And we actually had a company that does white label stuff for other manufacturers come by and see our process, and they were like, well, what's wrong with that one? Like, oh, that one got off a little bit on the wine, so we had to scrap it. And they're like, oh no, we would have sold that. And like we were like, I was like, no, I don't think that's probably a good move. And he's like, well, if the customer doesn't complain, then it's fine. I'm like, but you're so far removed from the customer, you wouldn't even know if they were complaining because you're a white label manufacturer. So like, it was kind of disheartening to know that person, or that company rather, makes stuff for I know they make stuff for a brand that's essentially just lying about what their strings are, that I get NAM emails for all the time, and I always have to like not scream.
Yeah, that's kind of the same analogy for us with our custom guitars. Like, I know what variables other people have, and I know not to use that same metric for judging our stuff. Like, if we're going to charge a good amount of money for a guitar, I'm going to eat that cost and make sure that I have the foresight to see through those things and check every little aspect of production before these things go out. That's will 90% of people know the difference? No, but it's that 10% of people that do, that are really good at the internet and really on the forums, that scare the crap out of me. And I am doing this for everybody, and a lot of it's for those guys. You know, like it just makes sense to.
No, we're forum proof.
Yeah,
we're forum proof.
I hope.
Forum proof.
Next thing you know, somebody's gonna be on the forums like, no, they ain't about crap.
Yeah, that's
they're no good.
That's your new slogan.
Forum proof.
Forum proof.
We thought it was vintage corrected, but now it's forum proof.
Yeah, forum proof. Forum proof.
Forum proof.
I mean, if
we're
you can make a truly
and forum proof.
If you can make a truly forum proof guitar, I don't know if that's been done yet.
I don't think it's possible, but
well,
we're trying our best.
And I don't mean this in the way that it sounds, because it's definitely not forums are nice places, especially the Tone Mob Facebook group.
That's right.
That's right.
But
am I on that? I'm gonna get on it.
Mark's on it. Yeah,
I'm on it.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Yeah.
He's been too busy.
Too busy.
Been too busy. He's
so
getting on it right now. Look at him. He's going on right now. I'll prove you when we get off of this, because I'm all tied up doing a podcast or something.
Following.
But the problem, the wonderful thing about the internet is that everybody gets a platform. The horrible thing about the internet is everybody gets a platform. And some people, like I said before, just don't know what they're talking about. So if you can make it forum proof, you have to also like guard against people who have no idea what they're saying. And that's just an impossible task. So, but I wish you luck on your journey.
I don't think we'll get there, but
no, nobody will ever get there, but we are trying our damnedest.
You'll get there one day. If anybody's going to get there, it's going to be you fellas. That's what I think.
That's right.
Thank you for the vote of confidence.
Well, we are approaching the end of the episode. We're getting close. I have a couple classic questions I have to ask. And because there are two of you, I might want to jump into this a little bit sooner rather than later, so we can wrap this thing up properly. But before I do, this is your chance to, shout out your grandma, say anything you've been wanting to say to thousands of people. This is your opportunity to do it. Go for it.
I'm going to shout out Dustin Babitsky.
Yeah.
And just because I know he's going to listen.
Yeah.
And Ryan from Demos in the Dark.
Absolutely. Two wonderful people. Dustin actually gave me a ride from the JHS shop that day to the airport and brought me barbecue. So
what
yes,
a sweetie.
I'm eternally in his debt.
I made a joke the other day, and he thought that I had come down with COVID, and he was like, "I will bring you whatever you need."
Yes.
It's like, dude, I don't have COVID. I was just listening to "Landslide" by Fleetwood Mac, and I made a change to the lyrics. No, you don't need to do that. Wow, you were great.
Yeah, he is amazing. Shout out Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hi, Dustin.
Hi, Dustin.
Yeah, he's a huge Tone Mob supporter and has been for a long time. So yeah.
Oh wow, who do I get to shout out? I'm gonna shout out the dudes as Stumac, Eric and Dan.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to shout out my buddy Ian, who has another Patreon called Ian Hates Guitars, which is where I've been getting all of my restoration information for the past year or so.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, he's doing good stuff over there. It's very highbrow Luthen until you get into the comments section. Then it's very you realize that everybody's just the same. So
right.
I want to shout him out, and my buddy McQuiston, who has made the coolest drive pedal that I've used in a very long time.
Oh.
His thing is called Integral Audio.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's I'm going to stop it there for now.
Okay. Where can people find you all on the internet?
2 places. Our repair shop in Kansas City, Missouri is called Fountain City Guitar Works. If you're on Instagram, that's at Fountain City Guitar Works.
All right.
And then the custom guitars, Seuf Guitars. We're doing really crazy good things this year. So give us a follow. Look into our stuff. As much as I think that we sound like we don't know what we're talking about, I swear we do. We are really doing good stuff, and at a price point that you will not believe. But no, Fountain City Guitar Works, Seuf Guitars.
All right, perfect. And just to reiterate, I can vouch for it. It is very good stuff. So, dear listeners, I'm serious. Go check it out. You'll be very glad you did. Ryan did not steer us wrong when he urged us when he came on this podcast to check out your guys' stuff. He is 100%
I haven't listened
correct.
to his.
Yeah. So, that was a spicy one. You'll want to listen to that one.
Okay.
Yeah. He got spicy on it. It was fun.
Should we get spicy for the patron only stuff?
We can get spicy if you want to get spicy. We're about to slide over there.
Yeah.
Let's get spicy.
Let's get spicy over there.
All right. Before
so
we
you should
get
probably
spicy,
sign up for that because we're gonna get spicy.
It's gonna be so hot. We're gonna be scorpion pepper hot over there.
Woo! Ooh,
right.
love that.
Yep.
We're pepper boys, by the way.
Oh, we're gonna have a lot to talk about then.
Yeah,
this is gonna be good.
We'll get into that. Patreon exclusive stuff.
It's literally gonna be spicy. All right. Here's the final questions. Here we go. First one. What is your favorite Boss pedal?
Who's going first?
Why don't we go 3, 2, 1? PH2
Super Phaser.
Ah, I didn't see that coming.
No.
Wow.
That's it.
Together. The PH2. That's a good pedal.
I love it.
Pedal.
It's good. And you know why it's good? Because
Why?
I didn't have any other pedals when I was growing up. And I found out about that because I was listening to Incubus. Finally got the internet, figured out what it was. And Mike from Incubus was using the PH2 all the time. Changed my whole world. I still use it to this day. It's the best phaser I've ever used in my life.
All right. The PH2.
Not the best phaser I've ever used in my entire life, but I love it.
What's the best phaser you've ever used?
I don't know. There's so many. It's like, I don't even use phasers. That's the thing. I don't even use phasers, but that one is that one's going to my grave with me.
I like it.
I love
like
that
it
thing.
a lot. Good stuff.
And I just love Boss pedals.
I have one right here. It's just hanging out.
Blues Driver.
Woo. Woo. I needed one of these for a long time. This is actually a Christmas present from a dear listener, John Schick. He surprised me with it because I kept saying on air, I need a Blues Driver. And all of a sudden a Blues Driver showed up at my house. And I was who got me this? And then he sent me a text and was like, I see your presents arrived. I was like, oh, you're the best, John. Thank you. You're amazing.
Way to go, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boss pedals have always been the gold standard. You know, Princess pedal board was all Boss pedals.
He was pretty good, I hear. Like, I heard he was
I've never
really
heard him
good.
play, but I saw a picture of his board on like a rig rundown one time. And he was using all Boss pedals, and he was tapping them with heels on, and they clicked on every single time. So that's
I've never had one fail ever. So, you know, I can't say that about everything. Love Boss.
Love
and you
Boss.
know what? Oh, I got to clarify something. Some people have messaged me saying like, congratulations on that Bosch sponsorship. And I'm like, no, I don't have a Bosch sponsorship. That's just a question that listener Jason, this is the listener shout out episode, I think. Jason Fuzzmonger and moderator in the Toad Mob Facebook group thought of. And I thought, that's a great question. I'm going to start asking that at the end of every episode. So, but Boss, if you're listening, you know, your boy's here. Like, I love you.
Also, Boss, if you're listening, I ordered an HM2 back in July, whenever the pre-order came out for the Wazacraft HM2. I still haven't received it yet. If you could get me that, I don't have a 12-volt spot on my adapter for my pedal board, and I'm desperately needing to get the Wazacraft version on my pedal board.
Mm-hmm.
If we could get that going, that would be awesome. Thank you, Boss.
I know this is in your control.
I know some people at Boss, and I think they might listen to this. So let's see if that happens. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Come on.
Crossed.
Come on, everybody.
I got my
Waza
HM2, so I'm good.
I didn't get mine.
I didn't get mine either, but I didn't order it, so I can't complain.
I did order it. I also love the Boss
runner-up HM2.
HM2. How do you like the new one versus the old one before we sign off here?
I think it's just as good, if not better.
I was wondering if it's better because I have an old one and I like it quite a bit. Not for the chainsaw sound though. I don't like the chainsaw.
I don't do
sound.
the chainsaw sound.
No.
I do low gain with it.
I don't do low gain, but I make it beefy. Make it real beefy.
Mm-hmm.
You use low gain on an HM2?
Oh,
I'm amazed right now.
God. Shoegaze, dude.
I love the idea of that. I'm going to try it now.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're just dropping bombs on me all over this episode. This is wonderful. Okay, better get to the last question. Here we go. What is your favorite kind of pizza?
Anything pepperoni, mushroom, jalapeno.
Anything?
Pretty much. Like, I'm not super picky about crust. I prefer like a Brooklyn style foldable crust, but I'm not
Thin
always
crust.
going to get that. So if it has pepperoni, mushroom, jalapeno, I'm good.
Yep, same.
It's like you're related or something.
It's genetics.
Yeah.
It's weird how that works.
It's
know?
almost
so strange.
Sometimes we can actually finish each other's sentences.
Wow. Wow. I feel like I'm in the Parent Trap right now. This is amazing. Oh, that was brilliant. Well, hey, thank you guys for coming on. This has been phenomenal.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. I think that's probably a good place to wrap this thing up. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for Mark and Sean, this is Blake. Good luck and good tones, people. There you have it, folks. There's another one for you. I hope you enjoyed that episode. And if you are a patron of this podcast, you are in for a treat of a conversation. We go down that spooky, spooky road, and it is a lot of fun. We really have a good time. So if you would like to hear that, you can support the show over on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/tonemob, and you can support the show for just $5 a month, and you will get extra episodes beamed directly to your ears. If you can't do that, no sweat. No sweat at all. Please just share this with a friend. Let somebody know. Shout it from the mountaintops. That's the only way this thing keeps going. So thank you so much for everything. Thank you for checking out the Foxwoods. Thank you for checking out the Slice of Pie. I know you heard that last week's episode. Slice of Pie has been going great. Oh, that's right. I was supposed to mention that we are almost out of cheese. So we had pepperoni and cheese, just depending on what flavor you needed. And we are almost out of the cheese. So if you've been looking to grab one, hurry up and grab one because they won't be available for a while after those are gone. So we are doing these in batches. They will be available as much as possible, basically. So, but you might have to wait a little while to get in on the next batch if you are wanting a cheese slice. So anyway, thank you for everything. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. One last thing before we totally sign off here. I just want to remind you that if you do any shopping at Stringjoy, that's Stringjoy guitar strings made in Nashville, that will help me out as well. As I've said for years, I'm heavily involved in that company, and I really do think they're making the best products on the market. So if you would like to try custom strings, go to tonemob.com/stringjoy and check them out today. I seriously love what the team down there is doing. I help them out with all kinds of things, and by you supporting them, you are also supporting me as well. And hey, you need some strings, so why not get some custom strings just for your guitar and playing style? Again, the link for that is tonemob.com/stringjoy, and that will take you right to their website, and you can do all your shopping through there, and that will help everyone involved out. So thank you very much. Talk to you next time. We are brought to you by the wonderful folks at Gun Street Wiring Shop. Yes, Gun Street Wiring Shop. I've talked about them before. I used to say based out of Bend, Oregon, but guess what? Sean moved to my neck of the woods. Sean's in Portland. Sean is awesome and has helped me with a bunch of stuff lately. And if you have wiring needs for your guitar, he can help you too. If you want to get weird with it, he can get weird. If you just need to spruce things up a little bit, there's your guy. He takes all the guesswork out of doing your guitar wiring, and he makes it simple, and his customer service is top-notch, and I can't say enough good things about Gun Street as a company. I really respect Sean and what he's all about, and the product is top-notch. I've got 3 different guitars that now have Gun Street harnesses in them, and I could not be happier. So go to gunstreetwiringshop.com and check them out.